last time we played, a lot of shit happened on the first day. Lenore essentially tried to... I forget how exactly she intended to do it, but she tried to kill a stowaway and use it to... kill and capture a stowaway and use it to bribe Stray to study their insides and see if she could figure out how they click, how they worked. Cherry met a fire genasi by the name of Gina Ember. I don't think she rolled a natural 20. Oh, did she? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is true. Tycho met with Luck Vito, the not quite so gentlemanly thief, and bought some high heat items from him. What else happened? Oh, there was the attempted robbery, the very, 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 very poorly done theft of Estraga. Stray just intimidating all of them off the train before keeping one named as Leonid Rivar. Yeah, exactly. Except for keeping one on the train named Leonid Rivar, who knew Korik in some way. After just a fucking awful interrogation, just absolutely awful. It was torture. I can't... Saying it was an interrogation isn't right. It was torture. Leonid walked off the train missing an arm, very drunk and very scared. After giving up the name Carlos, who was apparently the mastermind, though obviously he didn't think it through quite all the way. Leonid Rivar, as well as the other one, who you did not get the name of, were accompanied by Spines of the Free Market, the essentially Black Ops group of the Free Market. And they seemed to be the muscle. They probably took the job. What else happened? Oh, Lenore tried to bond with Estraga and only got her arm numb for 24 hours. Yep. Which, by the way, the bribery didn't work. Or unless she rolled a natural 20, didn't she? She rolled fairly high. Yeah. Yes. I think that was all that happened. There were talks between... Oh. At the beginning of the session, last session, Ellis, Cherry, and Tycho all woke up in a dream, confronting 3 people from their pasts that were connected to them in one way or another. It was 4, or... yeah. Tycho's parents, Cherry, a woman named Ada, and Alice's mother. You guys were told that if you freed the creator they would bring them back for you, or at least give you the methods to bring them back. Cherry was given something, and now I think that's it. After having a conversation with, after that, Ellis and Tycho had a conversation, and then Stray and Tycho had a conversation. Lenore did get to peek at Stray's insides after paying them $25,000, which, for what is essentially an open heart surgery while they're awake, is pretty cheap. Now, starting this session, Cleo, do you want to do your thing now? Okay. So, what do you say? Okay. Roll a wisdom check. Yeah, it's not bad. You sit in your room, assuming that you're not in Miss Ember's room. Okay. Okay. Yes. Now she's doing this. Yeah, it takes you a little bit, and there are a few times, or there's one time where you had to stop because of a headache that you have, just thinking about what you're trying to do. But after you take a few minutes, probably a shot of whiskey, not enough to get you drunk, because you're still on sober hours, but you close your eyes, and very faintly, the rumbling of the train tracks and the train around you cease, and you're left with the heat of the Badlands, which you're familiar with. You open your eyes, and you are back on the same salt plain. Mountains surrounding you, this time they're an inky black, and the sky above you is of the eye. Uh-oh. The surroundings fade. The sky fades as well. And then, very quickly, it's like a bar is built around you. And you are sat at the table. Across from you is a person in a suit, though looking at their face is odd. It's like none of their features stay the same for too long. It's nothing that sets you off as creepy, but the face doesn't remain the same as you look at it. They nod. So be let go. I am only here because the continuance latched a piece of you to me and I to you. I agree, I don't like being inside your head. You set me free, and I will give you the code. Or, should you wish it, as you get closer I will give you more pieces, if you don't feel like waiting that long. I do. But as I can see it, you're nowhere close. But as I can see it, you're nowhere close. I will give you another piece of the code if you are willing to begin making your way in that direction. I can show you what you're looking for. They reach under the table and reproduce their hand. And they set down on the table in this spherical divot that hadn't been there before. And what you see is an orb. And this orb is what appears to be galaxies and stars and just infinite space that seems to move and change as you look at it. And he speaks. This is the continuance itself. Vanderlist took it and used it as the key to lock me in here. And with the continuance's currently twisted nature due to that insignificant speck, I cannot break out of here willingly. Where did I get out? Where did I cut out? Due to that insignificant speck, I cannot get out of this prison willingly. Otherwise, this wouldn't be an issue. Indeed, it does. Alabaster and Galcara, yes. And you will simply just forget the code. Trust that you will not forget the entirety of it. But if we go through this deal and you cross me, you will forget what I have given you. That is the point. Then expect to be satisfied. I believe your kind of shakes on a deal. What else is it? What up? Alright. I will not dignify that with an answer. What else do you want? you seeking aid in your creations? They kind of just lean back in the seat. Just the shifting eyes and the color of them just you raise a rather significant point, Cheryl. On your world, the land has not yet been discovered, as current technological and magical means have no way in seeking it. There is a fuel source of crystalline nature that is very brittle and can be melted down. They reach under the table again and produce a crystal, a very large crystal. It's maybe about the size of your forearm, in a glass jar, and set it down onto the table. Call it what you will, but this source has a number of uses. It is highly combustible. It can be used to fuel virtually anything for years. If it isn't injected or consumed by any living being, they transform into something different. I know of your trepidations of magic, or towards magic, rather. But this, used with any sort of creation that would require fuel, I believe would do quite a bit. Have it. While I am still imprisoned for the most part, the pieces that have managed to get out have earned me some leeway. Not enough to work towards my ultimate goal, but enough to help others towards it. Otherwise, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation. Just wake up. Cross me or work to cross me, and that will be done. They hold up a finger. One bit of knowledge for you to know before we do shake on this. Vendorless is old and powerful, as is Alabaster, as is Galkara. The three of them have been working for quite some time towards whatever goal it is. Once they begin to see what your goal is, they will not relent on trying to capture you, and I do not know what you consider them, but the individuals with you. Noted. It was just a warning. And they take your hand and shake it. Anything else you would like to know? They sort of get this amused look. Nothing that you won't learn soon enough. Do so. And then, all at once you wake up. On your bedside table, there is a glass jar with a single piece of large crystal the size of your forearm. And getting a look at it in reality, it's almost like, what's it called? Stained glass. Though it's a purely white blue And it gives off this radiant color that seems to bloom with the daylight, and if you move it into the darkness, it dims a little into almost like a lantern light. And that is all. So, everyone else, what are you guys doing? I already had you roll a wisdom check for the second day, right? I had you roll a wisdom check for the second day, right? Last session? Okay. And I'm pretty sure you succeeded, so you're good. I'm gonna say it's maybe a couple hours after, excuse me, after the attempted robbery, so I'm gonna say maybe 2 p.m. Two p.m. Did you not hear me? 2 p.m. Sorry. Okay. You have to bang on the door for a little bit, as Lenore is currently deeply enthralled by her findings of Stray. She just unlocks her door with Mage Hand and doesn't say a word to you as you find your map. And then, as soon as you exit, she again locks the door. Okay. Alice, what are you doing when Tycho comes a knocking? No, you're good. Can you guys not hear me? Okay. Maybe I need to change my sensitivity. Testing. Yeah, I need to lower it a little. You guys might hear my air conditioning, but okay. Is it bad? If it gets too bad, just let me know and I can go and turn it off. It's supposed to be a cold night anyways. So, Ellis, what are you doing when Tycho comes a knocking? map is in Celsi. The map and the few words that are written on it appear to be blueprints for something known as the Hall of the Revered. The Hall of the Revered, just from the brief description that you have of it, where'd you lose me? Oh. Yeah, I think his internet has to be reset. Oh, there he is again. Hello? Can't hear you if you're talking. Oh, it. There you are. So, what did you miss? I literally heard nothing from... Yes. Yeah. We heard that part. I'll just tell you what you know of the map. Or, from what you can see on the map. The map is written in Celsi, and it appears to be blueprints. It is called the Hall of the Revered. From... Nope. No, go ahead. I'll tell you more after you guys finish speaking. as um, as you look more at the map, uh, there appear to be certain markers on the map that depict certain areas of the tomb. There is an area marked Those of the Faith, an area marked Allies to the Faith, and a third, much larger section that appears to be the central, like, focal point of this tomb, known as Heroes of the Faith. Okay. So, you guys head towards Stray's cabin, as he is currently as they are currently there right now, since it is in the middle of the afternoon. The doors open, and you see the child very soundly sleeping on what is Stray's bed, and Stray just sitting at the desk, looking out the window. What are you guys' passive perception checks? Alice, yours is 20. Tycho's is 15. You see Stray tapping on the desk in a very methodic way, and just very faintly, you can hear that they're talking under their breath. Talking under their breath. You can, but it's not in a language you understand. Oops. It's... Can you cast it so I can read the description? Yeah, any spoken language. It's about as old a language as Celsi is. You're not sure what it is. But Stray appears to be counting. They flinch a little, and they look at you, that eye currently revealed. Yes, but what do you want? They look to you, Tycho. They look back to you, Ellis. Alright. What is it? Something about the tomb? Alright, bring it here. They look at it for a moment. Well, I can't read anything. But this is where I was buried. Hall of the Revered. And what makes you think that? You can see them, like, visibly shake a little, And they rest their elbow on the desk and start rubbing their forehead. Headache. Continue. Don't do that. Haunter. Just keep going. Looks like their hopes. It looks like their hopes were very summarily dashed. Or just an inconvenience. From what I remember, there were quite a few items in there. Strong ones. Whether or not they're still in there is yet to be determined. As from what Ellis told me, I believe people have already come and gone, ruined the temple from the inside out. Ransacked? Yes. Potentially. I don't know why people would want it or why people would want what's inside, but that's just what I know. Yes. Yes, everyone would. That's why you guys aren't going through Alessa to get to Legacy in your guys. That's why you guys aren't going to Alessa to get through Legacy to get to Legacy because that quarantine has shut down that entire rail line. I don't know. It might be. There were a lot of things in that tomb that make me think that if they were to be put in the wrong hands, it could very easily become a very poor outcome for anyone on the other side of them. killed quite a few people since I've left, so I would. Altogether, you count about 250 individual tombs. That sounds about right. And if I knew, I would tell you. What am I going to do with blueprints I can't read? That's to me. No, he didn't. He's putting dots together. That makes me happy. You back, Alice? Okay. Is there anything else? Okay. As you leave, Stray just almost assumes the exact same position that they had been in at the desk. Again, methodically tapping it, and they restart at 1. Okay. Choose one. You cast a spell and it doesn't reach her. Yes. He casts a spell and it doesn't reach her. Okay. Tycho, you doing anything? No. Roll an investigation check. So, going to the pleasure cart, since that is where the rich, famous, and otherwise wealthy individuals tend to hang out. You find a poker game. And there is one poker game with two individuals. One is a very gaudy looking tiefling with piercings and rings around their horns and piercings in their ears that just basically if you didn't know there was an ear there, you wouldn't be able to see it. Lots of rings on their fingers. All of them are very gaudy, gold, just very much wearing their own wealth. You get the sense. And at the other spot is a man wearing all white. He's older, a little wrinkled. He's just got this very knowing smile on their face. And from what you can tell, as soon as the cards fall from the dealer, that this guy, whoever he is, has just pretty much won any sort of money that whoever this rich tiefling is, all of their money that they may have been carrying on this train ride. And they push off of the poker table and point at the man in white and say, "He's fucking cheating. I know he is." And the dealer just kind of shrugs their shoulders and says, "I didn't see anything. If you can't prove it, just leave. Unless you have more money to buy yourself in." And the tiefling just kind of... What languages do you speak? They're speaking Infernal, and they say a very large string of curse words to both the dealer and the man in white. It's gonna be hot. They also say that. But eventually the tiefling gives up and just storms off the cart, just very angrily yelling and disturbing some of the other games and other promiscuous things happening on this cart. The man in white spots you and gives you a very keen look. Would you like to play? Sit down. So, you have a name? Nice to meet you, Kazdi. I'll be buying him in. And with that, the dealer splits a very small portion of the Man in White's pot. Buying is 100,000, and he sets down 100,000. What are they called? Chips worth 100,000 in front of you. Let me know if it gets a little too rich. So, what we're going to be playing is blackjack. This is out of character. We're going to be rolling 1d10s and talk to ourselves. And we will either be bluffing, insight checking, or no. Actually, you know what? Let's use the actual decks. How do I use the actual decks? Okay. Oh. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out how to use them. Oh. Okay. So. First hand. The big ante, small ante. Man in White is currently big. He puts down 10 grand. Small ante is 5. So, wherever you're marking your funds currently, mark yourself down to 95. And Man in White is going to raise by another 5. It is your turn. Okay. So you call him. He's going to raise by another 10. I'm rather confident. Okay. So that is one card. It's blackjack. It's not blackjack. It's not poker. It's like blackjack, not poker. Target score is 21. Aces are 11 or 1. Kings Kings, queens, and jacks are 10s. Man in white will check, and this will be the last turn. So you can either raise, fold, or check. Okay. Last card is revealed by the dealer. I should probably have 2 decks out, but too late. The man in white reveals 18. 2 9s. Dealer, I'm just going to say busted out. Do you not know the rules of blackjack? Yeah. Right. Yeah. I forgot that. Regardless, I'm not going to have this run for the entire game, as that would be boring. So, you did lose, as the target score was 21, but I will have you roll 3 deception and 3 insight. So, man in white, man in white is very deceptive, and he is incredibly hard to read. But then again, so are you, except for your nat 1, which he actually rolled a nat 1 as well on that second roll. Or no, that's your third roll, never mind. But it's a very back and forth game between the two of you. At the end of it, you come out with about 60,000. Far more than you were expecting, but you barely put a dent in this man's chips. And neither did the house. The man in white stands, says, I believe I didn't give you my name. My name's Falan. One. So, he leans in. And he whispers in your ear, illusions will get you in trouble at a poker table. And you didn't notice this before, as the pleasure cart is fairly hot. Anything around Falon is incredibly cold. And it's almost as if being near him makes your breath visible. And your hand in his, assuming you shook it, is close to hypothermia. Huh? Oh. Assuming that you shook Falon's hand, his hand in yours is very close to hypothermia. Or your hand in his is very close to hypothermia. He just feels that cold. So, Mr. Kasdy, it has come to my attention that you might be a part of the Astraga crew. Is that true? Good. Talk with me. It's not like he's asking you to do anything, he's just telling you what you're going to do now. And he puts a hand on your back and leads you out of the pleasure cart. It says, you know where the rest of your crew is? Go and fetch them for me. I'll meet them in the Astraga cart. Now. So, everyone, you guys are met by a very hurried Tycho. Telling you all to meet him as well as another individual in the Astraga cart. As you guys reach there, the Astraga cart is maybe 30 degrees colder than it normally is, especially with the Pangean sun constantly beating down on it. And this isn't it. Okay. Let me pull him out. Let me pull out Falon. And all of you see this man clad in all white hair. Just everywhere he goes, Tycho, you've noticed that he just has this smile. And while he looks rather tired, he looks kind of happy with his current situation. No. And Tycho, thinking on that name, Falon, it kind of dawns on you as you reach the Astraga cart. You just played blackjack with one of the Dragon Mountain Ranges. One of the godlike patrons of Pangea. Yep. Just under Ladon. Yep. Yep. So, As you all are gathered, the skulls appear to have gotten there first and are in what can only be described as shock, looking at Falon in front of them. He kind of looks at each of you, giving you each a small nod. Tycho, the biggest nod of the group, simply because they just played together. So, you all are the crew going to Legacy. Rather ragtag. No offense to the bandaged man. Don't speak for me, Cherry. That's what Stray says. Right. Anyways, I just wanted to see what I was bankrolling. This job is very important. I'm sure all of you know that by now. If I may ask, why exactly did one of yours attempt to bond with the Astraga? And Lenore isn't there. The older woman. Do you know of her, motivations? Can you sit? Yes, he is. Yes. She is rich. Not as rich as me, of course. But I sponsor more than just this. You could call me the Bank of the Underground. Those coins that you all have in your possession, they come through me. God damn it. God damn it, Ellis. Banned. But as am I, as are a few friends of mine. Now, if you all wouldn't mind, I'd like you all to roll a charisma saving throw. That's a failure. Charisma saving throw. Roll a yes, roll a charisma saving throw. So, only Tycho and Ellis succeed. Everyone who failed is under the effects of Zone of Truth. I want to know exactly who each of you are and why you're on this train. He looks to I'll just start with how it is labeled on the map, left to right, top to bottom. He looks to Stray and they just shrug, following a hunch. Lenore isn't there. Cherry, where are you on this train? I did. It doesn't answer my question. Answer the question. Answer the question. Don't pay her for this job. Tycho. Or Kazdi, why are you on this train? Legacy. Yeah, it's Legacy. Ah, I hope they're okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Ellis. Okay. What kind of answers? I feel like those are questions everyone's asking currently. Anything specific? Who do you work for? Who do you work for? Fair enough. He looks to you, Korik. He looks to you, Korik. Why are you on this train? Fair enough. He looks to you, Cherry, one more time. You gonna answer? He turns to Dutch. Pay her 50 grand more for this whole ordeal. I can respect the persistence. Pay her for the job as well. It's fine. We can stop soon. I'm getting kind of tired too. Well, just keep an eye on your older friend. I don't like my investments being botched because someone decides to undermine my money. Tycho understand if you choose her side, as contracts are very important to civilized businessmen and women. Just make sure you don't get yourself dragged into anything you don't like. Regardless, it's a pleasure to meet the 6 of you, 5 of you. Now, if you all don't mind, I have other business to attend to elsewhere. He sort of just bows, and his body seems to melt and blow away into crystal-like snow that just melts as it reaches the floor. It's not far off from how it looks. With a little bit more grandeur. Yeah. Get the Lance token out of here. So, Dutch and Osmond are just kind of staring at the puddle that was once Falon before Dutch just shakes his head and goes to a safe that's within the Astraga cart and pulls out some money to hand it to Cherry under Falon's orders. And he looks to you, Tycho. You played blackjack with Falon? I don't even know what to say. I need to sit down. Falon likes to drop in very peculiar ways. I could have sworn he was more modest than that. Anyways, you all can go away now. I think me and the Skulls need to breathe. It's slowly climbing back up. As you guys leave, Tycho, as you go back to your cart, 1 second. In the crowd, walking back to your cart, you see someone leave your room. And, well, normally this would be concerning, only it's far worse than just concerning, because as they walk out, you recognize it from the day everything was burned down. A fox-like helmet, red scarf, and white suit. You've done a lot of research on the Kessman Raiders. Specifically, this person in particular. Fox. Given the name due to his mask. Is a hitman. A hitman specifically for the Kessman Raiders. No one's ever seen his face. No one's even really heard his voice. Except you. You remember it plain as day as he told your parents to shut up before killing them both. And that voice kind of reverberates in your ears as you watch him walk out of your room and almost directly look at you before turning in the other direction and walking out. Walking to the opposite end of you. What would you like to do? That was your economy. Yep, that's your economy class card. Say again, you cut out for me. Okay. Roll a stealth check. Roll a stealth check. You do so. You're a little bit blinded and loose with seeing that fox mask again that you aren't quite paying attention to masking your presence. And you follow Fox. You aren't watching your steps as you mix with the crowd, and you're more pushing and shoving rather than following discreetly. And you follow Fox from the economy, a few economy class carts that are from yours in between the next pleasure cart. When you reach the pleasure cart, it is entirely empty, save for Fox standing at the other end, staring back at you. They give a wave. They nod. You can hear them laugh a little. And then that voice that you heard that long ago starts speaking. You're just a secondary visit for now. Gats, Kazdi, Tycho. I've been keeping my eye on you. You're an interesting little, side project. You and your cousin Bentley, though, you're far more intriguing. I'm sure you do. The amount of self-control you have is a little bit more than I thought you would have. Oh no. I am alone. But I'm never off my guard. Why 3 names? I don't see any more need than one. You know, the, Kessman, Johannes, he's very eager for me to learn about you. And while I don't feel like telling him everything just yet. Keep stepping on his toes, and I will have to eventually. And I don't really want that. So, for the sake of clarity, know that I want it to be me that sees the life drain out of your beady little eye. Not Johannes. Are we clear? You might. Not after your precious little Ostraga, of course. I have other business. Something tells me the free market is going to change rather soon. You aware of the name Shaw Pierce? Word has it that he just broke out of Vezret's most secure prison. Not sure how, and I'm rather intrigued to learn. But with his face around, I figure the free market will be changing rather drastically. Whether or not they're going to be even more of an issue than they are already is yet to be known. What is your passive perception, Tycho? 15? What is your passive perception? From behind you, you feel a knife press to the base of your neck. And just ever so slightly push in. Yes, the feeling of a knife at the base of your neck. As the image of Fox in front of you disappears. I would kill you here, but it's not very satisfying. Work a little bit better on keeping your guards up. I'll be seeing you around, Tycho Gatsby. And with that, the pressure eases. You hear the door open behind you, and you look back, and Fox isn't there. Okay. No, Alice, you are not. as you do so, the intercom of the radios that only occasionally come on for visits or are on for music in the pleasure carts and the bar carts all come on, even the ones in the personal rooms. And Cherry, Ellis, and Korik, you hear a somewhat familiar voice. It's the voice of Sam, but it's different. It's got a different accent. And it says, anyone who is listening, if you're a part of the free market, put your guns down and come to Vesrit now. This is under orders of Shaw Pierce, the founder of the free market. And this is to the Delnaras. If you're anything worth your salt, you'll send someone up here too. Whatever beef we had 80 years ago is no longer an issue. Things in Vesrit need to be dealt with now before they get any worse. And the radio cuts off. And with that, I'm going to call the session. What'd you want to do? Nope. Too late.